All right, so look, hey, here we go, nigga. We got to jump back up in this motherfucker though, man. So look, nigga, part two with my nigga H, man. So man, from 18 to 20, man, we gonna go 18 to 20 now. You graduated, man. You graduated. You feel me? You get into the growing. So like we said, who else had you growing and shit and doing your thing?
I watched a couple biker dudes. You know, I used to get, you know, that's where I used to get my weed from. And then, you know, this guy named, his name is B, you know, but he has a brother too. And they both grow outdoor and shit. And then there was all kinds of people, bro, because I watched a lot of people. Some guy named Jeremy, he grew hella weed. The guy who worked at the country club grow place right there on Country Club, I even helped him grow, you know what I mean? Out there in the fucking, out on the island.
Yeah, I remember that nigga. Yeah.
So I was, you know.
So so when did you get familiar with you know, like going into other shit, like getting off of the tree thing? Well, before we get out the tree thing, so what's the biggest grow you ever did?
In my grandma's backyard, I did at least, I think I did 20 plants, and I got like I don't even know how to say it. I got too much weed where I had to just give it away to people. Like I was just like, here's an eighth, here's a dove, here's this, because it was just going to shit. And then I was trying to make butter and all this other shit. And it's hard to just like, you can't just give people weed, because then they'll have weed and then they'll turn around and sell it their damn self.
For sure, though. For sure. Yeah. For sure. So, with the weed shit, like these days, I want to ask you a question. With the weed shit these days, you feel like that shit's still profitable?
Yeah, it is. It just matters how you grow, how you flush, how you cure. You know, a lot of people be curing it, like they be buying those big old machines that you pull your bud off the fucking wet stem and they grind it down and it mixes it all up. That shit right there makes your weed look all dark and all this other shit. You're supposed to let the, you know, the nug wrap around it like a cocoon, you know? And then it soaks up all the leaves, like the leaf water from it, so it gives it more water inside the fucking nug. I don't know, it just cures different, you know what I mean? It just matters how you cure it, you know what I mean? Some people put it in the room, and they think it's okay to put it in a room at the temperature of 100 or something. Oh, that shit's supposed to be in a room of like 71, 74 degrees with some fans blowing on that shit.
Yeah, for real. So, when you started, when you got out of that phase, you know what I'm saying, you started moving on to the other shit. What made you start moving on to the other shit, like, you know, the white
all that
shit?
Other shit, you know, I seen people.
And by the way, we talking about shit that's old. So I don't think y'all finna try to bring us some shit that we already been convicted for all this shit. But we do telling stories, so let's go. So when you start fucking with the other shit,
you know, I started selling it, like at first, because I was 18 years old, I was probably doing it at first. I wasn't really selling it. I was actually meeting all the people that fucking did it. So,
what made y'all, hey, you know what I want to ask you? What made y'all start doing, like, because I came back from SAC and everybody was fucking with it. Like, where'd that come from? I remember you said that Drew used to get the KJ from his pop's house.
He used to get that shit, and we used to fucking go smoke that shit anywhere at the house, because his dad would leave in the morning. He was, I think, mailman. Yeah, he was a mailman, and he'd be gone, and we'd just take something, just like Kevin over there in the carport right there in that area. His dad had crank, so we used to get the crank, and then we started listening to that Chewy High with a hard ass dick, you know, that shit.
Andre Nicotino,
yeah. Chewy High, that song. We were listening to that shit, and then we're doing that tagging shit. And the tagging shit, people started, you know, like, tagging was different, bro, for us, because we'd go out there, we'd fucking write all sloppy, and we'd go see some other people tagging, and we'd catch them tagging, we'd beat the fuck out of them and shit. And then a lot of people, you know, a lot of people started getting scared of tagging, you know what I mean? There was all kinds of tagging crews out there.
Yeah. Did you ever tag when we was growing up? You tagged, huh? What was
Don't
your
worry about
tagging
that
name?
because I didn't get evicted for that yet. Go fuck yourself.
Oh, okay. Okay, I can dig that. I can dig that. So tagging. So the KJ is what led to the tagging,
No,
or
it just made
what?
us feel
How
a
did
type
that
of way
work?
where we didn't care. Like we had no soul. Like when we would go to war
Yeah.
or go somewhere and do something, we wanted to feel like nothing. Like we lived every day to the fullest. Like fuck it, we're gonna go out here and do this shit, and we don't know if we're gonna come back or not because we're stupid.
So do you feel like the KJ it brung you down, or did it? How did it take you from when you graduated to doing
How
that
did
shit?
it?
Like
Nah, why I started doing those kind of things because I wasn't getting nowhere in my life. You know, I was like, right after high school, I went to Delta College to go play baseball. I got a piece of paper, it was a draft paper that, Dallas Brady, and I got one. And I went to my mom and I asked my mom, can you fill it out for me? Because I didn't know how to read, so I wanted my mom to fill it out. And she told me life's hard, figure it out, threw it at me. And I never, you know what I mean? I was depressed. I was really depressed because even my own family wasn't trying to help me. My mom was just trying to keep me in her pocket so I could take care of her and provide for her and all this other shit. And she wasn't trying to help me. She thought I was gonna go play baseball
yeah.
and take off on her and never come back.
So you was playing with Dallas Brady, and I remember we used to all go to Stag with them. There used to be some
Oh yeah,
assholes, huh?
fuck yeah, bro. I don't even, bro. What the funniest thing in the world, bro, is when he's on the news talking about how Stockton is, blah blah blah. I laugh about that shit more than anything because this nigga used to we'd walk through the fucking senior parking lot. He'd be like, turn around, turn around. I'm like, nah, bro, what the fuck? And then we start fighting. Then all the seniors started fighting us. You know what I mean? And then we're freshmen and they were trying to can us and shit. But they were starting problems. You know what I mean? But
Well, I remember when we first they thought they was
were pulling up in their Mustangs, their old schools because they're rich. They're rich ass boys, rich ass kids.
Yeah. So after that, so basically you had the scholarship to play the baseball, but your mom's messed that up.
She said, life's hard, figure it out. And I didn't go to other. This is the thing. People didn't know that I didn't know how to read blood. I wasn't really fluent with it. Just be like, hey, I don't know how to read. I just, you know what I mean? I just be like, go off the wall. If a teacher was trying to teach me something and she was like, hey, why you ain't doing this? You fucking stupid. I'd be like, fuck you, bitch. And then I ended up being a behavior problem all the goddamn time. So they just passed me. They used to just pass me in, you know what I mean? In high school, they didn't give a fuck. They just passing by. I'd be in M1 all fucking day long, PE area all fucking day long, playing every goddamn sport, not learning a fucking thing, and I still got my high school diploma.
So after that, you get into it. You go to school. You had the diploma. All that shit didn't go the way it was supposed to go. Obviously, you say your mom's kind of messed it up. So when I came back, y'all was tagging and shit, right? Y'all was tagging. Everybody was going crazy, man. And I think it was the white stuff at that time when y'all was doing the pipe crystal shit, right? So what made y'all go from the KJ now to the crystal? And there was a lot of motherfuckers getting money in the neighborhood too. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
By the way,
they were just
off of that shit.
They would just bring it by, and the prices were cheap, so we would fucking be like, we'd go sell it, or we knew people that did it and they were smoking it, and we get contact, and then next minute we were just smoking that shit. I don't know how to say it. I was just smoking it.
Yeah, I remember the first time. I remember everybody was trying to hide that shit from me. The crazy part is, and then Bean blew that shit in my face, and that's when we started fighting in the backyard. For me, Slim was there, Dark was there.
Yeah.
Remember Dark? Yeah, that nigga Dark was there. It was crazy. But so when you started fucking with that shit, y'all started fucking with that shit.
He got jumped in, and then I think a week later he got jumped back out.
Yeah, I remember. Remember he got his gun took? Was that a 4.5?
I don't know.
He the only nigga. Hey, I don't know who took it, but I know he got his gun took. Nigga, it was a 4.5. I remember that motherfucker had the prettiest 4.5. I was like, he was like the only nigga, like the only 4 niggas that had a gun, nigga, in the hood.
Yeah.
Niggas used to go to Dark's house just to get that motherfucker. But so y'all niggas started tagging. So tell me how you got introduced into the tagging shit.
I don't even fucking know, really. We were just a group of kids all together. And no. There was a group of kids. We're all together, and I don't know how we all started meeting. Cause like I knew certain people. There was like, you know, Bert, Norm, and then I met Steve, and then you know I met some other people, and then these people knew these people, and then Fat Boy knew him, and then I don't know. We just started like getting a group together, and then like some of the kids in the neighborhood were unfortunate than others, you know what I mean? So we would go to other people's houses. Someone would come to my house and be like, hey, can I use this shirt? Can I use that? Or I'd go to his house and use his hat, or, you know, they want to use my shoes, you know, or whatever, you know what I mean? We used to kind of like swap clothes, so we were like all brothers. We all used to take care of each other. You know, we used to all get money and like say I'd have so much money and this nigga would have so much money, this nigga have so much money. We'd all try to put it together and try to get a party or something, get something popping.
All right, so so you met them, you was introduced into the tagging shit, right? So do you feel like tagging changed your life for the negative? First off,
it was just like I didn't have nothing to live for, so I didn't really care. You know what I mean? The options I was trying to do, I was working at Central Mart. Remember, like I was telling you before, like when Roger died, you know, right after school, high school, I was like 17. I went to Central Mart. I was doing everything. I was doing produce, frozen foods, doing, you know, getting the shopping carts, taking the old ladies outside. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. You know, and it was minimum wage back then was only like $6.25. And I was seeing other money selling weed and all this other shit. And it was, man, fuck this shit. I need to get a better job. So I got another job I met this guy named Richard. His name was Richard Alvarez. You know, he was a Mexican guy, and he was cool. He lived right down the street from the baseball park. You know, right where I played baseball at Western Little League. And he was like, hey, you want a job? And I was like, hell yeah. So he gave me a job at Lowe's Warehouse in Lathrop back in the day. And I left Central Mart. Lowe's Warehouse was cool. I was working, you know, I was doing the job. I was like, hell yeah, I don't have to sell these drugs, you know, and do all this other shit. I'm trying to fly straight, you know. I'm helping out mom, grandma, all this other shit, trying to do what I can. My grandma helped me buy my first car, you know. It was a Thunderbird with broken windows on the side, all shot out, no windows, driving it in the rain. But lumping was fun in Lowe's Warehouse. I'll tell you that. You get a lot of money when you lump. But yeah, that didn't work out. Okay. You know, because I'll finish the story. It was my boss got fired, and then I got fired. Then I said fuck it, because I couldn't get no job nowhere else. Then I started fucking up again. But it was no matter what.
So when did you start? What was always calling?
You know what I mean? People would always call me all the punk rockers and shit, so it kind of kept me in the door, so I was still making money.
So that's what made you start selling it?
Yeah,
getting it off
again.
Okay, so tell me about your first experience.
Of what?
Tell me about your first experience. First experience of trapping. What you start with? How'd that start, man, in the hood?
It was just having everything that was on demand. Anything anybody wanted. Anything that anybody wanted. You had to have mushrooms. You had to have the weed and have different variety of weed so you could sell it for different prices. There was no club back in the day. There was none of that shit. You had to come out to a dude out in the car or go meet him at the park or go meet him somewhere and hopefully that you're going to get your drugs.
Yeah, so that's real shit. That's real shit. So you started selling out. Now let's go. Let's go forward a little bit. So you got caught up in the big sting. You know what I mean? Of course, with that shit. So what I want to say where you started from is because we're gonna go to where you ended up at before everything went bad, right?
Yeah.
So you started. You started off. You got a plug. You started off. You got a plug. Started off with a zip. It started going good. How did it work?
Bro, I was out downtown area. That shit was popping, you know. And like the first thing at first is I got like maybe a half burst. You know what I mean? Started off again, you know, because I didn't know how to really move it. Really, I knew I had people and shit like that, but I didn't know what I was gonna do because my game was selling weed. So I started off little.
Yeah.
Ball went by. Teener went by. Another ball went by. I was like, oh shit, I only got a little bit left. So I re up, got another one, got a whole one. Then I was listening to the people, you know what I mean? Watching the shit, watching all the other cats. They're like, hey, you got any cut? And I was thinking about it like, what the fuck you guys talking about? And they would look at it and they're, oh, this shit's pure. Oh, let me have like a half. And they wanted it, right? So I thought about it. I was like, the fuck? I need to find out what the fuck they cut it with. You know what I mean? So I was like, I went to all kinds of places and shit. I ended up going to Ziggy's right down the fucking street. You know, I was like, what the fuck? Hey, do you got any MSM? They were like, what? I didn't say it. I don't think I said it right or what, but he knew what I was talking about. So he pulled it out. And I was like, hell yeah. I was like, can I get like a zip of that? So I got a zip, and I have a zip of some real. So I go to my house. I lived right there off of Geary. I think it was called Geary Street or something like that. Had a little spot, me and my girl, you know, doing my thing and shit. Went to the house, you know, and I got the MSM and I cooked that shit on the stove. I just cooked that shit up real fast, like melted it down on some foil. And then right when I melted it down to melt it all the way clear, put that shit in the freezer. And I got my dough and I cracked it, broke it all up, like the big old pieces just to make it all like separate a little bit. So I threw the cut inside it and I added the water. Add a little drop of water. People be dropping hella water in that shit and all that shit. I just dropped like a little drop, like just a drop. That's it. And I have the bag blown up. I shake that shit. Shit all sticks to it. I start, you know what I mean, going down to the Phoenix area, fronting people, not giving a fuck, just giving it to them. Then I got 2 zips. Then I started moving up to a pound because it was just moving. I was getting people's whole fucking Social Security, disability checks. I was getting dope fiend rentals. I was doing all that shit. In less than a month, I bought me a Cadillac. Cashed out. Blue one.
I remember,
Blue one. I had everybody, and I still had money doing all that shit. But they were doing like an Operation Ceasefire or something like that in the neighborhood too. So they were watching everybody. So they were already watching me because other niggas were doing shit and I associate with them and all this other shit. It was just all bad, you know what I mean? So one day I was rolling, or actually I was telling you, I was rolling up to like a pound, 2 pounds I was getting. And I called my plug on the phone. I was like, hey, bro, I need 2 of them. And he was like, all right, whatever. Yeah, I got you tomorrow in the morning. So I was in traffic. And I had some, you know what I mean? I had a couple zips or whatever. And I was just like moving my shit around, just keep on busting and just kept on going around. And I seen my plug. And he was like, hey, bro, you still want me to come through? I was like, nah, I'm cool right now, bro. I didn't want it. So the next morning, Fat Boy calls me. He's like, hey, bro, you want to go to Home Depot still? I was like, yeah, let's go. So I go to Home Depot on March Lane and shit. I go to his house where his little house was at when he had the pool. You know what I mean? If people know who he is, he had a pool. He lived right there by March Lane, somewhere over there in the cut. And
Yeah, we know.
yeah,
We know.
and I pick his ass up. We go over there. Me and my girl were arguing. We've been arguing and shit because we don't, you know what I mean? I don't spend no time with her. I was just out the door. I was just high on some syrup. You know, I was getting bottles of syrup for fucking cheap, you know.
I remember that. You used to
You know,
swear
I
with
used to
that
get
shit,
the
though.
bottles of the promethazine, codeine, all that shit, that bubble gum one. I got all that shit. None of these niggas don't see none of that shit no more.
Yeah.
But there was other niggas sipping that shit before me and
All
shit,
facts,
but,
though.
you know, but I was getting my hold in my own shit because, you know, when you're being out on the streets, you get all kinds of shit. I was getting PlayStation 3s brand new in the box, you know, because I had.
Motherfucker, how many motherfucking PlayStation 3s did your ass get? Nigga, this nigga
I
had
don't
like
even know,
fucking
but all I know is that
50.
they were coming. They were coming all the time, and like any Levi jeans, they would just give me like stacks of them. You know what I mean? Stacks of them in different sizes because I don't know what they did, but they come with them. Then they would come and burn down the sensors off my shit. But you know, back to the fucking story about the, you know, me and Fat Boy, right? We were at Home Depot. We're sitting there. Fat Boy got whatever he got. I wasn't really paying attention what he got because I didn't really give a fuck what he was getting. Because I was too big headed
Yeah,
in my
yeah.
head, you know, like making the money, having all the people want the shit, you know. And I had all the people downtown. They were tripping off me. There was people that had the, you know, there's Tom's Market and then the barbershop. They were all tripping off me because I was out there stealing all their knots. Because they're the type of people, they'll front you, and like at 20 minutes they'll fucking call you and fucking say, hey, I need my money. What the fuck,
Yeah.
motherfucker? And then they're tripping and shit. I was a real boy because I had the shit and I had the plugs. I was just out there fronting everybody and waiting till the first. And then the thing is, they would smoke all their shit before even the first comes. So they would get their pills, their fucking syrup bottles, or, you know, hey, here's this. I got this. I got a flat screen. I got, you know, video games. They would just give it to me, or they got gold rings. Whatever, they would just give it to me just to get a fix. And what's crazy is one of these, bro, this is you guys could check on this one because right next to the BART station downtown, when I was locked up, I seen my knock, and I didn't even know this shit. I would go to his house, give him a half, give him a zip every like 2-3 days, and then like he would call me next month, and I just gave it to him again. And literally, that I know, when I was watching on TV when I was in jail, he was caught for killing his bitch, and he had her in the bathtub. And I was in his house with him.
Well,
I was in the house
remember
with
that.
him, just,
Yeah, I
you know,
remember that when you
chilling with
told
him
me.
and
Yeah.
shit. And I can't believe he didn't kill me.
I think that nigga ain't gonna kill no. Nigga, if that nigga would have killed you, that nigga would have been
Bro,
out
no
here.
one would even knew. I was in the fucking, I was running through the trap, bro. I wasn't just on the outside. I was in there. I was not living, I was like, bro, in the Phoenix, bro, you have to literally stand up because there was fucking, I forgot what they're called, bed bugs and all the other shit, bro. You'd see them crawling on the floor and shit, bro, and I'd be like, what the fuck, bro? And then, like, what was cool about the Phoenix is when you knew everybody in there, when the cops came and try to fuck with you or something, you run in there, they would try to run up and try to get you. You just have to knock on a door or know that one of these doors are going to be open, and you know them because you take care of them. But, you know, me and Fat Boy were at Home Depot, right? I got my barbecue pit because me and my girl were arguing, you know, and because I haven't spent no time with her, you know, I was just getting it. I go home, or actually, we're driving home. We're on March Lane. We're making that flip bitch right there by In-N-Out, trying to go the opposite. We're trying to head east on March Lane, and there's the exit to go on the freeway, the I-5, to get on the freeway, or the on-ramp, I mean, not the exit, but the on-ramp. where you can get on the freeway, and the cop tries to get beside me. He's on the left side of me. He's trying to look at me, trying to drive right slow right behind me. So if I try to get on the freeway, he can go on there. So I'm going straight because there's two turns right there. You can turn right at the corner, or you can turn when you're driving straight. So I start going straight, and highway patrol is right beside me. He's slowing down. I can see him, so I speed up like this. So he speed up, and I made the turn like that. Boom, and he was like, he turned on his lights, but he couldn't catch me. I jumped on the freeway, got off on Alpine. I take this nigga home real fast because I'm driving down Alpine, down Pershing. Then I drive all the way down Pershing to his house, drop his ass off. I go home because I'm like, oh, it's cool now. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I got away from him. You know, I thought I was away. And I pull up to my house, and remember, I told my plug I'm cool. You know, I didn't have nothing. So I seen him later that night, and I'm going to my house, put my barbecue in the house. One of my knocks come up to my house. He's like, hey, can I get some? And I feel something like really fishy in my heart, like something was telling me, nah, don't do it. And I had it with me.
Yeah.
I'm about to jump in my car and go to the Phoenix right now. Okay? So I'm like, fuck. I go in there. I fucking jump in my car. Or actually, I tell him, nah, I don't have nothing. And then I close my door. I walk outside, grab some more things out of the car. I come up to my door. I have my car on outside. I see a car drive by, a van. No, it was actually a van drive by. It looked hella weird. So I locked up my door. I left. I made the left off of Gary and started heading towards downtown area. I got pulled over by Tom's Market right next to the bar. They made me turn left on the main street. Fucking cops everywhere. Jump out. Assault rifle.
Wait. You skipping? So are you skipping? What about the van parked in front of the house and shit? You skipping
Bro,
that?
I antagonized that van. You know what I mean? I went outside. You know, I seen it like maybe a week before all this shit happened. I went out there and I was videotaping it because I was so high off syrup. I was like, look at this van in front of my house. I can't believe this shit. The fucking pig's trying to catch me. They can catch me. I was just too big-headed because I was high off that shit.
Yeah. See, when I was over there with you, I caught myself doing the same thing because you was doing that shit. And then the van, not the van, but the police would start driving by my house. I'm like, oh shit, I know something ain't right with that van. You feel me? Because we over here talking shit to the people in the van, and all of a sudden police is just sitting right across the street from my house like I disrespected them or something. I'm like, what the fuck is going on with this van? And then the crazy part about the van, we got to tell them about the van because that's what stands out to me. The crazy part about the van is that the van had blacked out windows, then it had curtains inside.
Everything. It had curtains and everything in that motherfucker. And then it had just a camera. You could see the big ass fucking lens circle fucking pointing right at the fucking outside the van. Like, bam. I was like, God damn. But I was acting like a fool, bro. I was acting like an idiot.
But I think that was the FBI, but they just want to see how much you had first before they sent the police department. Cause that shit was the van was way too advanced, bro. It wasn't no regular police. But that shit was crazy, bro. When I look back at it, like, nigga, you was over there really running through that motherfucker. So
you know what?
At your high,
I was antagonizing him, bro. I was going downtown. I was literally going downtown and going to like the Mexican restaurants where they all eat. And I would sit there with a 4-5. I would sit there with a 4-5 cig in my pants with 2 zips tied to my fucking boxers, bro. Literally sitting right next to the fucking cops with no fucking care. Like, what? The fuck do you want?
I remember
buying my food and then walking straight to the dope fiends and then getting whatever fuck. Here, take this. Or, bro, I was even driving a fucking one of those wheelchairs, going to the fucking houses all through fucking downtown areas, tripping because I was high.
I remember. So at your peak, At your peak, right? How much money you think you made?
I don't even know, bro. It went too fast. Not enough. Tell you that. Not enough. I got enough where
Would you say
I
the
got
shit
enough
was?
where I got a couple cars and shit like that and things like that, but nothing really.
So was it?
It was
Was
actually
it?
not money. It was actually like, how can I say? I was making my name louder. You know, I was just
Yeah.
trying to make a name out there. I
I
wasn't
see
even
what you mean.
caring about the money. I was spending it faster than I was making it.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So, I mean, do you feel like it was worth it when you look back? How do you look at that situation? Because you've been convicted for it, so we can talk about it.
I look at it
how
as
do you look at
because
that
the
situation?
choices that I had, I couldn't get no job, I couldn't get no proper thing, so I went to the streets. Everybody in the streets needed someone, so I was there when they needed someone. Like everybody would call me on Christmas, holidays. I would ruin my family's Christmas to go hustle and take care of other people to please them with their drugs or whatever they need. Oh, they need a front, they need this, and I would fucking come home like later. I was a fucked up dad sometimes. But now I come
Yeah,
home every day. Yeah, maybe I have a drink or something like that, but I guarantee my kids can tell you that, hey, my dad's not over no toilet seat. My dad's not asking people for money. My dad got this little house. We're trying to build up our credit. My dad barely started working because he never even fucking worked, you know what I mean? And we're going to buy a
yeah,
house and we're going to be doing good. And I'm going to keep on working.
for sure, for sure, for sure. Uh, we going with this part. We gonna end now because we're gonna go to jail next. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about your time in jail after all this happened. So we gonna break that down next. But you know what I'm saying? This is a dope part two for the people, you know what I'm saying? So y'all tune in, man, with my nigga, man. And I was there to vouch for all these stories too, by the way. I didn't want to chime in and say no shit like that until the end. You know what I'm saying? My nigga ain't lying about none of this shit. You know what I'm saying? This nigga, the reason why I chose to interview you is because when I was down, when Vic was excuse me, when he died, it was like you was there to help me pick up the pieces. You feel me? And I seen the way you catapulted, you know what I'm saying? You did your thing and got money, you know?
Bro,
And the police
go
going
ahead.
the police gonna always throw a wrench in some shit. They don't want to see nobody make it.
But they
You know
didn't
what I'm
try to help
saying?
me either.
But you was
They
doing
didn't try
good
to
for
help me either.
no, but you was doing good for them people in a way. Because you was there and you was almost like the Robin Hood of that motherfucker. And then you had people like me coming down there pressing and trying to so you had everything. It was just I don't know. Maybe we should have just, at a point, when you think about that, maybe we should have just turned it off and went legit. But that's for another conversation. That's for another day. Cause everything was going great.
Yeah, they caught me. I think the
But
cops caught me was like set. It was like I think.
no, wait. Before you tell them all that, we're gonna say that for next time
Uh,
because we don't want them to get everything. We gotta let them know like what happened after your arrest. Now, after that, feel me? So we gonna let them know that we're gonna finish this up. I'm gonna tap in with you right now.